Okay, so today we're going to start speaking section. Okay, listening and writing. You're going to um, take the classes again. Uh, we run in a cycle. Okay, after the speaking, I'm going to start with writing, and then we do the listening section, reading section, and then again it comes to speaking. So whoever are new or have not completed other modules, you can complete it. Okay. All right. Okay. Introduction to part one, part two, and part three. We're going to see what does the speaking section consist of. All right. There are three parts in speaking section, and the speaking test is held before or after writing, reading, and listening exam. So if you are giving IELTS on paper, it is held before or after. But if you are giving IELTS on computer, it's held on the same day. The duration is 14 to 15 minutes. You're going to get three sections. Okay, it's the examination is short. Now, what are the examiners looking for? While you are speaking, while you are talking with the examiner or interacting with the examiners are looking for these things, okay? Whether your speaking consists this thing or not. So, fluency and coherence at first. So, hesitation and organizing points. Fluency means speaking in a natural rate without causing any hesitation or difficulty for the examiner to uh, interpret what you are saying. Okay, so the fluency and coherence at first, and then the lexical resources, which also means vocabulary. Okay, so the type of words you're using, the phrases you are using, is it relevant or not? Okay, so these things are looked at your speaking. And grammar. Okay, so how you be speaks to an examiner are important. All right, so the grammar should be correct. Okay, is this grammar correct? Is this grammar correct? This one, is this correct?
No.
So what would be the correct form? So what is the correct form?
How you speak to an examiner are important. Is important.
Is important. Okay. Okay. So, and your pronunciation should be clear as well. Okay. So you can use any accent. There is no
Mhm.
specific accent that you should be using. Okay. This might be British accent. This might be American accent. This might be Thai accent, Asian accent, and Arabic. You can speak anything, but your pronunciation should be clear. What you are speaking, it should be clear. Okay. Now, part one. Part one in speaking means it's about you. Okay, it's about yourself. The questions that will be asked by the examiner will be on the common topics, and it will be about yourself. Okay, so it lasts for 4 to 5 minutes, and there is no time to prepare for this. Straight away, the examiner is going to ask you questions. First of all, the examiner will confirm your identity. Um, he will ask you your name, and he will tell you to introduce about yourself, and then the examiner will straight away ask you questions from part one. And there are around 12 to 15 questions in speaking part one. Okay, so 12 to 15 questions about yourself, and the type of questions or the topic in the questions, um, that is examiner's choice. Okay, so whatever comes in his mind, he's going to ask you that. And for this, you need to be speaking at least 3 sentences and maximum of 5 sentences. Okay, so sometimes what we do is we only give our answer in 1 sentence. Okay, so giving answer in 1 sentence, it sounds a bit incomplete, okay, or unfinished. So you should be elaborating your answer, but it's not necessary for you to speak more than 5 sentence, 6 sentence. All right, so you can speak about 3 to 5 sentences. Okay, so what do you need to do in speaking part one? You should stay on topic. Okay, so whatever the question is has been asked to you, it should be relevant to that. Your answer should be relevant to that, and you should be extending your answers. All right, so whatever the examiner is asking you, you don't give it the answer. You don't give the answer in 1 sentence only. You're going to extend your answer, and you don't stay quiet. Okay, staying quiet means the examiner will think that, okay, so maybe he does not know what I'm um, questioning him about, and maybe he's stuck an idea, or maybe he does not know how to speak. Okay, so you should not be staying quiet, and you should make up a story if you have to. In IELTS speaking, there is no right or wrong answer. It's always about good or bad answer. Okay, so instead of staying quiet, you can tell that is relevant to your question, but you can tell the examiner anything. Okay, so extending your answers. So if the questions, for example, are do you like to cook? So you should be telling, yes, I'd like to cook, because you give reasons, right? And you mention what do you like to cook and how you feel. So in this way, you are going to extend your answer. You should be extending your answer. So if the question is what do you do in your free time, you're going to mention the activities. You are while mentioning the activities, you tell what you like about those activities, why you do that. Okay, so you should be extending your answers. All right. So example how you're going to extend your answer. Example of how you're going to extend your answer. So if the question is how many people are there in your family, right? So your response should be this. Can you please read it, everyone? Read it in your mind, please. So if the question is how many people are there in your family, then this should be your response. This is how you're going to answer. You're going to extend your answer, right?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
But when we see in our traditional style, the first sentence is itself we can see as like incomplete one, right? So can we make that first sentence as like longer one? So there are four members in my family or something like that, or it's the
Yes.
same format.
No, no, no. It's not the same format. You can um, give your own answer. Like there's no rule that okay, you should be speaking in this way only. Okay, you can tell that okay. So there are four family members in my family. There are four members in my family. Okay, so this is good, right? So this is how you're going to answer. Tiksa, got it? Everyone, everyone, please tell me you got it. Soros, can you please mute? Okay. So whoever are telling yes or this answer is good, they are wrong. Okay, this is a bad example how you give your answers. The question here is, how many people are there in your family? The response is, okay, so there are four. It's okay, right? So we live in a large house in the north of my country. It gets very cold there in winter, but it is really nice during the summer months. I try to go back there often. So does it even link to the question itself? It's not relevant. Okay. So if you look at the answer, the question actually is, how many people are there in your family? So the response should be about your family. Okay, who are there in your family, maybe, right? And so you tell about the number of people, right? You tell it's my father, it's my brother, it's my mother. It's a bad example, guys. Okay, so whoever are telling this is okay, so it's fine or it's right, it's a bad example. Now please read this. Actually, your Paul Musta, please read this. Now is it good? Is the response good now? Is the response okay now? Yes. So the response here is, there are four. There is myself, of course, and there's my younger brother. He's 15 years old. And I have my mother and father who are both in their late 50s. I have two grandparents as well, but they do not live with us. Okay. So they don't live with us. So this is how you're going to give answer. This is a good example. All right. So, common topics for part one. So, what kind of topics or what kind of questions that might come in your exam? Okay, the examiner might ask you in the topic related to this. Okay, hometown. What type of place is it? Is it rural or urban? What was it like growing up there? Has it changed much since you were a child? So, do you enjoy cooking if it's about food? And why do you enjoy cooking or why not? And what kinds of foods are popular in your country? How important are dinner parties in your culture? Okay, so if it is about your free time, then what type of activities do you do in your free time? Do you like to do these activities alone or with people? How long have you been interested in these activities? Now, the question can be random. Okay, it might be anything. So it might be about your dreams as well. Do you dream much? How often do you remember your dreams? Do you think we can learn from our dreams? So the question, whatever comes to the examiner's head, the examiner is going to ask you that. Okay, so the topic for the question might not be different every time, but the related topics to the related questions to the topic might be asked to you. All right. Okay, so part one, did you get a simple gist of what part one is in your speaking? Do you have any questions?
Yeah, for this all, we don't have any preparation time.
Okay, so for part one, there is no preparation time. Okay, so straight away, it's like an interview. So the examiner is
Mhm.
going to ask you questions. You are going to straight away answer, give your answers, and again, the examiner is going to ask you. It's like having a conversation. It's not a speech or it's not a lecture. Okay, so it's back to back question and answers. Okay. So part two, we call it story time. Okay. So what happens in part two is this is in this part, this is where you are going to get the preparation time now. Okay. So you're given 1 minute to prepare for this and 2 minutes to speak. So one cue card or a card with questions is provided to you. In that card, you'll get questions and you will have to answer those questions, but um, you have to speak for 2 minutes. Okay, so you're getting 1 minute to note down the points that you're going to speak, and then after that, you're going to speak for 2 minutes. In this part, the examiner is not going to ask you questions back and forth. Okay, the examiner is going to hand you the questions, and you have to speak it by yourself. And there are four questions in the cue card. All right, four questions, and these are experience based questions. So the questions might be about the vacation you recently took, the favorite thing you bought for yourself recently, and um, it might be about a call you got, an important call that you got from your colleague or maybe friend, right? So the topic might be different, but there are four questions in it. So what you should do is you should read the questions properly. Okay, the four questions which are given, you need to read it properly, and there's no need to write in full sentences of word. Whenever you are preparing for 1 minute, you are only going to write words or phrases. Okay, so if you write in sentences in 1 minute, you can't even write like 2 to 3 sentences, right? So as much points as you can, you're going to write it down on the paper, right? So I suggest everyone to write at least 8 to 10 points while you are preparing for your part two in speaking. And you start with the questions. You answer in order.
Yeah, if you see the
So
tips, it mentions read the question properly. Or I think we need to hear, right? Not we cannot read. I think it is speaking,
um,
right?
this is speaking, but in listening, you are going to hear, right? So
Mm,
the
yeah. So
examiner
we are
is
not going to read over
Yeah, in speaking section, yes, the examiner will ask you questions, but the examiner is going to ask you questions in part one and part three. In part two,
there.
you're going to get the cue card, and in the cue card, you are going to get the questions. So you should read the questions in that, okay? And you should give your response. Speaking means speaking is not for your examiner, speaking is for you, right? So to make the conversation in part one and part three, examiner is going to ask you questions, but in part two, you're going to speak yourself. So who all have a habit of speaking too quickly? So do you guys speak too quickly? Anyone? को बोल्नुहुन्छ छिटो यहाँबाट? Lenin speaks fast. Okay. Others? Does anyone? Did you guys sleep or what?
Actually, we are listening you.
No, you should be responding to my questions, right? So
Yeah.
if you're not responding to my questions, how will I keep this class lively? Right? Me only speaking and speaking, no one interacting. I don't want that in my class. Ever. Okay? Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Let's make
So
it practical.
don't speak
Let's
too
make it.
quickly. Okay. So you're not going to speak too quickly, because if you speak too quickly, what happens is to match the time limit of or extension of 2 minutes, you're not going to be speaking for 2 minutes actually. If you're going to speak fast, your ideas are going to finish, and you'll be stuck with maybe 1 minute time frame or 40-50 seconds. So speaking in a natural rate or speaking calmly, that is going to help you achieve that 2 minutes, right? So if you are speaking too fast, then what happens? Everything you're going to speak it in under like 40-50 seconds, and there's nothing that you can speak. So if you can speak, or if you can generate ideas, okay, that's fine as well. But what happens is, getting new ideas every time, that's very difficult, right? So if you speak calmly, you can think for what to speak next as well. Okay, so you're not going to get stuck in your ideas. All right, so it's very good to speak in a natural and very calm way. So speaking, not speaking too quickly does not mean that you are going to speak very slow. Okay, so you are going to speak in a natural rate. Okay, you're going to speak very calmly. All right. So while you are answering your questions in part two, it's very necessary that you make connections. Okay, so, what do you mean by connections? So, connections means connecting the event. The event that you are going to describe, you are going to connect it, right? So, if you are talking about some place, maybe, so to make connections, what you do, so I went to that place, I did this, I did that, and I like that place very much. This place had this place has, so I like that place very much. So you are going to make connections like this. So if you know how to make connections, you are going to speak for a longer period of time, and you are going to speak more, right? Okay, so this is how your cue card looks like. Okay, so this is an example of a cue card. You're going to get these all questions. Okay, so maybe describe someone who has had an important influence in your life. So you should be saying who the person is, how long you have known him or her, what qualities this person has, and explain why they have had such an influence on you. You're going to get these all questions in the cue card. Okay, this is going to come in your cue card. And yes, there will be written that you should be saying this, and this. Okay, so at first, you're going to answer this questions. So this is the main question. This is the topic, what is asked to you. And these are the questions that you should be answering. Okay. So you should be answering these in one sentence or one sentence each. Now, the important person or someone who has had an important influence. Okay, so it is my brother, maybe, right? So who the person is? Brother. How long you have known him or her? Since my childhood, right? Since my childhood, or since I was born. And now what you tell is, you list the this is the listing questions. Okay, so in this question, what qualities this person has? Okay, so means you're going to list out the qualities now. Okay, so my brother is very punctual, he's very hardworking, and he's very disciplined. So maybe you list out the qualities. And now this is the question where you have to make up a story now, or where you have to elaborate for a longer period of time. This is the explanation question. Okay, this actually is the experience based question. So why they have had such an influence on you? So you can connect the events to it now. Okay, so you can tell that once I was with my brother and he told me this, or I've seen my brother do this, and there was an event like blah blah, and he did this, he did that, and after that I got so influenced by his activities that I tried to do it myself. And whenever I'm thinking about something that I want to do in my life, I always remember my brother, how disciplined he was with his work, and how he used to handle the situation or tackle the situation. Yes, Lenin, I'm here. You can speak.
Sorry, sir, I accidentally put hands up.
Okay, that's okay. Fine. Okay, so this is the story question. Okay, this is the explanation question. So what we do is actually, um, while you are answering the question, these three questions at first, the this answers or this responses will be finished in maybe like 20 seconds, right? And the rest of the thing that you are going to answer is from actually from this question. So this is the main question here. Okay, first of all you answer this, and then at last you answer this. And for this question you are going to speak for 1 minute maybe, or 1.5 minutes. Okay. Good. Okay, so example number two, it might be it might be describing a vacation you recently had, and you should be saying when you had it, who you went with, what did you do there, and explain why it was so special or memorable. So where did you guys take a vacation recently? कहाँ जानुभएको थियो तपाईँहरू? Vacation लिनुभएको थियो recently? Did you guys go somewhere? Why don't we start with Vikas?
Okay. Um, Actually, recently I have visited Tano district, and I went with my family over there, and there we went to some temples and gathered some um, information of the locations as well. So it is so memorable with me because we all family members went together and visited new places in addition to the temples. So it is really a memorable part for me. So I'm not sure it's really good or not. Yeah, just
Okay, so it
it's
will
my
get
first
good.
experience.
It will get good.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
So nice try, Vikas. No vacation since 6 months. No vacation since 2 years. No sir, no sir, no sir. You guys go nowhere? Yes, Lenin. Accidentally or what?
No, sir.
Okay. Do you want to ask something?
No, sir. I want to try.
You want to try? Okay,
Yes,
why
sir.
not?
Uh, recently, I had recently I had gone in vacation with my friends. They are the colleagues from my office and a newcomers from Japan. His name is Aoki. We traveled together to Sri Lanka a week ago. The the place was so good and ambience. The owner of the hotel welcomed us with the garlands. The scenery was very much beautiful with the pond at the center of the Sri Antu. The most important part of this vacation was meeting with a doctor who was a cardiologist in Ganganal Hriday Rashtriya Kendra, and also the uh, the morning sunshine was also the main tourist attraction at this point of time. Thank you.
Okay, nice try, Lenin. Okay, so I think yes, connecting the events, right? So you connect the events, you make up a story. Okay, so I got to meet him, got to meet her, and we did this, we did that, and this happened after this. Okay, so okay, not yet, but planning for it. Okay, please do go on vacation, guys. If no vacation, your life is going to be boring, right? So at least take a vacation for like 1 to 2 days or 5 days a week, maybe. Okay.
Yeah, for this we will have 1 minute preparation time, right?
Yes,
For
you will
this
get
type of
one
question.
minute time to prepare. You can make notes on a paper, and while speaking, you can look at those notes as well. Okay.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
for 1 minute, you're going to prepare. So again, these two questions, you can answer it in one sentence or one sentence each. And for the third question, you list the activities in this and explain why it was so special or memorable, right? So special or memorable, right? So you can list out the events in this, why it was special or memorable. Now you make up story in this. I told you earlier. So create an event. So what happens is it's not necessary. So maybe like you have not um, taken vacation for like 5 years, 10 years maybe, or you have never went to a vacation, but still you can create a story of your own. Okay, so um, from the stories that you have heard from your friends, families, or any other person, you can tell that story as well. So I always say in speaking that no answer is right or wrong answer. The examiner is not going to come to your home and check or ask your family members if you had gone to a vacation or not. So it's not a fact check in speaking. All right. So you can tell that, okay, so I have a Lamborghini or maybe like an aeroplane in my home, parked in my parking. It does not matter. Okay. You can tell that as well. Okay. So he's not going to come to your home and check whether you have that car or you have that plane or not. But I always tell this in Nepali. Okay, so गफ त हान्ने तर अलिकति पत्याउने गफ चाहिँ हान्नु पर्यो तर गफ हान्न पाइन्छ. Okay, so you can make up story, you can tell anything. So the examiner is always looking at whether you can communicate in English or not. Okay, so it's not about whether you have a good general knowledge or maybe your IQ is good or not. It's the examiner is just checking if you are going for a foreign country or if you are speaking with someone in English, whether you can conversate with that person properly in English or not. That is only looked after when you are giving your speaking test. Okay, so as much as you can, you do not stay quiet. You try to speak properly, but your answers might be wrong. It does not matter. Okay, so common errors. What do people do? Right? Common errors. के हुन्छ त? So why was it memorable? So people tell I enjoyed, right? So memory, I enjoyed with my friends. I took photos. I like went for a walk with my friend and we enjoyed a lot. We drank, we laughed, we smiled, and um it was memorable. So enjoyment doesn't mean it's memorable. Okay, so enjoyment, you can enjoy anytime. You can enjoy in your home, you can enjoy um yes, you can use conjunction for linking sentences. Obviously you use conjunction every time, right? Because though, and, but, right? So you can use conjunctions every time. So the sentences, simple sentences and complex sentences without conjunction, the complex sentences cannot be formed, right? Okay, so memorable means something that hadn't happened before that incident, something unique. So if you have to describe something memorable, then you should be describing something unique. So examples for memorable moments. You went to a shooting, a movie shooting, and you met the stars, you took autographs, you clicked pictures with them. So this is a memory. You don't get to meet stars every time, right? You don't get to go to a movie shooting every time. So this is a memorable moment. So for example, okay, so your friend proposed to his girlfriend for marriage. She said yes, and that particular friend threw a party in a five-star hotel. So it is a memory, right? So all the friends, they are not going to propose to their girlfriend and give party in a five-star hotel. Are they? तपाईँहरूको साथी त्यस्तो हुनुहुन्छ? How much is allowed? It's not how much, right? So yes, you can sometimes get stuck and tell that, okay, so but every time every word, after every word, if you use that filler words, then what happens is this shows lack of confidence. This shows a lack of generations of ideas and lack of generating the lack of skills in generating the sentences or forming the sentences. All right. So filler words, if you do not use much often, it is very good, right? But sometimes people might use filler words, and it is considerable sometime. Okay, I also do it, but I do it very less, right? So it's all about whether it's considerable or not. So this you can get away from the filler words by pausing between the sentences. Okay, so it should not look like, okay, so you're stuck on grammar, but you can get sometimes stuck in your ideas, and during that time you can take short pauses as well, but your pause should not sound unnatural. Okay, so whenever I'm speaking, um, right, people do not think that, okay, so this guy, he is out of his ideas or he has problems forming the sentences. Oh my God, Raz, what is this? How much grammatical mistake is considered? Because slightly I have grammar issues. So what happens is grammar, if it is very good, you are going to get a very good mark. And if your grammar, you are struggling with your grammar, then what happens is you're going to get less marks. Marking criteria नै त्यही हो त. So consider गर्ने भन्ने कुरै हुँदैन नि, राइट? कन्सिडर गर्ने जस्तो 10 वटा ग्रामेटिकल एरर्सहरू निकाल्नु भयो भनेदेखि चार आउला, 6 वटा निकाल्नु भयो भने 6 आउला, अनि दुईटा मात्र गर्नुभयो भने 8 आउला. सो दिस अल डिपेन्ड्स नि, यो त मार्किङ क्राइटेरिया हो, राइट? कन्सिडरेबल नन कन्सिडरेबल यताउति हुँदैन क्या यस्तो कुरामा, है? अब हेरी हेरी हुन्छ, तपाईँको एक्जामिनर कस्तो पर्छ त्यसमा पनि डिपेन्ड गरेर हुन्छ. निधारमा लेखा हुँदैन, दिन्छ कि दिँदैन के थाहा अब मार्क्स, होइन? कहिलेकाहीँ स्लिप अफ ग्रामर, समटाइम्स मेबी लाइक फ्यु मिस्टेक्स, त्यो कहिलेकाहीँ कसैले ओके फाइन ठिकै छ भनेर नदिन पनि सक्छ, मार्क्स नकाट्न पनि सक्छ. अर मेबी लाइक दुईवटा तिनवटा ग्रामर भयो भने त्यो दुईवटा ग्रामर मिस्टेक गरेको होइन, आई डिडक्ट 2 पोइन्ट्स भन्यो भने के गर्न सकिन्छ? सो कन्सिडरेबल भन्ने हुँदैन, 5 वटा गर्नुहोस् 6 चाहिँ दिन्छु, त्यस्तो हुँदैन है. ओके, फर्स्ट टाइम अफ समथिङ ह्यापनिङ आउटसाइड अफ काठमाडौँ, हाउ अबाउट प्लुरल, उषा? Plural form, singular form. Okay. Yes, mistakes are mistakes. Okay, mistakes are mistakes. So there is nothing about considering something. Okay. So तपाईँको स्पिकिङ टेस्टमा म पऱ्यो भनेदेखि मैले कन्सिडर गरिदिउँला, तर अरूले कन्सिडर गर्दैन होला, मेबी, राइट? Okay, first time of something happening outside of Kathmandu Valley, first time doing something religious, first time doing some adventures. So we should add it was the first time have experienced this trekking tour, sunrise. Should we have to say, sir? Yes. So if you are describing something memorable, then it's best to start with, okay, so it was the first time I experienced this, or it was the first time I went to Pokhara. It was the first time I went to a shooting. It was the first time my friend threw a party in a five-star hotel. Or if it is not the first time, you first time. If it is not the first time, something might be unique. If it is not first time as well, right? So it's not necessary that something should happen the very first time. Okay, so you went to Pokhara, you have been to Pokhara like 15 times, maybe it is not your first time, but during the journey to Pokhara you got stranded, um, you got like stuck somewhere, or maybe like it was too late and you didn't get any vehicle, right? So it's also a memory, right? Or maybe like you met an interesting person during your journey. You met maybe um, a person that you have always admired in your life. So it might be anything, but it should be unique, right? Okay, memorable doesn't always mean good. So good memories matre huncha ta? No. Okay. So there might be bad memories as well. So you guys reached a place, it started raining, got drenched in rain. So do you know what drenched is? What do you mean by drenched? What is drenched? Yes, nitrukka biznulai ke bhन्छ त? Drenched. Car broke down, didn't arrive on time, place shut down. These all are bad memories, right? So memorable doesn't always mean good. So it can be a bad memory as well. Okay. So that was about part two. Okay, sharing your experiences, making up stories, right? Sharing some events. Okay. So in part three, you're not going to get any preparation time, right? So now in part three, it's like part one. Okay, it's an interview. The examiner is going to ask you question. You're going to answer those questions, right? And the questions now they are related to part two. So maybe if the question was about vacation, a vacation you recently took. So vacation, if it is about vacation in part one, part two, then part three questions might be related to some popular tourist attractions in your country, right? Now, it's mostly about your country. It's mostly about your country. It's mostly about your society. It's about community. It's about global issues, right? So the question might be related to around the world or maybe modern times, or it might be something about your country or your societies, right? And the question is more generalized, and you have to give your answer in generalized form as well. Okay. Now, it's not about yourself, it's about all the people or group of people, or maybe like it's about your country. So it's the question are more generalized, right? Now, when they say your country, think about demographics. So most of the time, when the questions come about your country, so you can answer or give response thinking about your demographics as well. Okay. So demographics mean, what do you mean by demographics? Do you guys know what is demographics? What do you mean by demographics?
How the population is diverse, we can say like that.
Diverse?
Yeah, diverse. uh,
Not actually.
you know. Mhm.
Diverse is not the actual word.
Sometimes demographic survey we conduct, and that also religions and backgrounds, those all things are checked, right, in that demographic survey.
Yes, demographics comes under that as well. Okay, so
Mhm.
the study or maybe like grouping something
Mhm.
according to like areas, according to age, according to your culture, according to
Mhm.
communities. That is actually demographics. Okay,
Mhm.
demographics means
Yeah.
study of something. Okay, study of or grouping of something, right? So it might be about the women population, it might be about men population, it might be about your region of your country, it might be about cultures of your country. So when it is about your country, it's better to think about demographics. Okay, sometimes like what food are most popular in your country, right? So when thinking about demographics, what you can do is like, yes, the food are popular in my country, but it is popular according to the reason, right? So In the Tarai region, these foods are popular because of this, and in hilly region, these foods are popular, and in a mountainous region, these foods are popular, right? So when you are thinking about demographics and giving your answer, what happens is you can extend your answers more, right? So you can talk for a longer period of time. You can give elaborated answers. Okay. So in part three, you should be at least speaking like one questions for like maybe like 15, 20 sentences. Okay. You should be speaking a passage or a paragraph, because the more you extend your answer in part three, or the more you elaborate your answer, the examiner will um, find your skills, how you can develop your um, responses or your answers, right? So developing your answer, this skill is seen in your part three of speaking. All right. So you should be staying on topic. Do not discuss anything outside the area of the topic. And there are no right or wrong answers, just good or bad answers. Okay. It's okay to borrow other people's story. So if you do not know about something, or you're not familiar with some topic, so you can tell the things that you have heard from the other person, or you can borrow the other people's answers as well. Okay. Okay. So today we discussed surfacely about what speaking is in your IELTS. Okay. So from tomorrow, we're going to study each part in detail. I'm going to answer, I'm going to ask you questions as well. You're going to answer. We're going to interact with each other. Okay. So please do come up and speak whenever I'm asking you to speak. Okay. So the more you're trying to keep the class interactive, the more you're going to learn. Okay. So without speaking, without having conversation, your speaking is not going to be good. Okay. So yes, we fear communicating with others in English because we're not habituated to do that. Okay. And to to minimize that fear, you should be coming up and speaking, right? Okay. Any questions?
Sometime if we got any stopped or block in answer, if we could not find anything, in that case, just for example, have you visited some special places, or some questions that we cannot actually answer? In that case, can we say, oh no, I don't have any idea on that, can you ask another question? Can we ask in that way?
Okay. So in that case, you can do that in part one. Okay. So you can do that in part one, or there is a way actually. Okay. So, okay, maybe like the examiner has asked you, like, do you like to dance? Maybe, right? So you can
Yeah.
tell, no, I actually do not like to dance, but yes, I like to sing. Okay. So you can conversate in that way, right? But
Okay.
um, you can change the pattern of the questions itself, right? You can change your answers, right? So I don't like this, but I like this because of this, right? But yes, if I got chance, I would like to um, uh, learn how to dance as well. Okay, so in part one
Yeah,
you
that's
can do
good.
it. Yes,
Uh-huh.
that would sound very nice, right? So it would sound like you are having conversation. So when someone is asking you something, and yes, you don't know about that thing or that particular topic, but you can always say that, okay, so I quite actually do not know about these things. I have never heard about it. So maybe like that is the reason I was never interested in doing this, but if I got chance, I would do this, I would do that. And this is going to keep the communication live, right? So what happens is, do you like to dance? Okay, so you don't know about dancing, or you have not danced any time in your life, then if you only say that, no, I don't like to dance, so your response is, what it seems like is, you're not interested in that conversation, right? So the more you are going to extend, so it's not about what actually you need to speak, right? The right answers, it's just about making communication with the person you are in front of with, right? Okay. And but in part two and part three, there's no choice. You have to answer that question because it's about global issues. So, how good are your ideas? How well you have known the topic, or you know the topic, that is looked by your examiner. So, there's no way in part two and part three. So, you have to speak about the topic that is asked in part two or part three. But part one, yes, you can divert your answers. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay. We're going to continue the speaking section this week, and we're going to have practice sessions as well. Okay. Thank you so much for today. Have a good night. Have a great night. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye bye.
Thank you. Have a nice evening.
Thank you, Vikas. Bye bye.
Bye.